Hi everyone. This video is Worldwide Ascension Part 3. I want to talk about a few things here. I'm going to try to get it all in under 20 minutes. I'll try to do. So, a couple of things I want to talk about, which I have promised I want to talk about, is the twin flames, soulmates, and divine complement, what that means, the differences. I want to talk about parallel lives here and how to tell. And then I also want to talk about disclosure, because that's a big one that everybody is excited about. And then I'm going to try to talk about the solar flash event. That might be a whole other video by itself. So I will try to get to it. If I don't, it'll be on another video. So let's begin. So I'll first begin with disclosure. Now these are just based on my experiences, based on the information I've talked with other people, information I've read. And it's my understanding and what I've channeled from my guides and my higher self. And my guides are the Palladians, the Arcturians. I've connected with many other different races as well. And so I have probably about 600 typed pages of channeled information. It keeps growing. And so I have a lot of information that several years ago I channeled a lot. I used to channel every day pages. And I got a lot of the information I got many years ago, as a lot of the information then I got is actually happening now on our planet. So first thing I want to talk about disclosure. First, disclosure of like extraterrestrial races, and that will not come from government. It's just not the way it's going to happen. Because the fear is if the governments release that information, they will lose their control. And government obviously doesn't want to lose control. So disclosure will happen with our galactic family, our ET family, our higher selves. They will do disclosure. They will show themselves. They already are. They're showing themselves all over the planet. People are seeing it worldwide. And so this is already happening on a grand scale in a semi-format. There will be landings happening. The way what's happening in the consciousness of the planet is really shifting fast, and many people are getting ready for this. Of course, there are a lot of people who are still kind of asleep yet, not really awakening to the truth, but disclosure will happen. Again, I don't see it at all. They said, my galactics, Palladians, Arcturians said it will not happen from the government. It may be it just, because of the fact, like I said, there's that control aspect where they're very governmental, fearful that because it will change everything. It will change everything completely. Now, the other thing, as I noticed, I've been working with a lot of people related to this disclosure, is a lot of people I've been working and doing sessions for people, a lot of starseeds actually, a lot of light workers I do sessions for. So I kind of help with unclearing some energy from them and kind of helping them. And one of the things I noticed that is common in many is that there are a lot of light workers and starseeds who are depressed. It's because it's a very hard environment. It's a dense world. There's so much happening that it's hard to deal with. So many are depressed. I've had many of my sessions talking about that. We've all been there. We all go through it. I get it. Totally get that. And so that's one of the things that's very difficult, because things aren't moving along as fast as some of us would like to see. And it's difficult because not everybody's on the same page. Now, last time I talked about timelines, and I discussed how a timeline works, where this planet everyone's on one timeline. We are on the Ascension timeline. That is a given. Now, when we experience it is really up to our higher self, our consciousness, where we're at in our frequency. Many in, how do I say, many in our galactic families already experienced, they're just further ahead on the timeline, okay? There's others who are not even awakened yet, who are still asleep, who are really experiencing the heavy, dense 3D type energies, and I mean, we all are, but they're still kind of not really awakened to the truth yet. So they will experience it when they're ready. Okay, so it's really dependent. You create your own reality. Okay, you create how fast you want to experience it, how slow you want to experience it. The other thing I might wait till next time, is talking about the quantum field and how that relates, because I did channel some information on that. That's really good information. So the disclosure, and many people are really anxious. I'm very anxious for it. I would love to see the ships, our galactic selves, because it would be amazing. It would change this world just like that overnight. I mean, it would just completely change this world. So I would love to see that happen. Many of us would, I should say. And there's no fear with it. You got to let go of that fear, because they're no different than we are. They're just at a different vibration. They're just at a different frequency. And we're always told, because of that programming, that the way appearances because of that fear factor, because somebody looks different. And that's a program we have to take away. We have to let that go, that social programming, because that's not who we truly are. It's just a layer that we wear over our soul, our energy. So the other thing I want to talk about is there's a lot of the disclosure events we will see will be related to the indictments that will happen, that have already happened, but they will be publicly known, and that's what will be exposed by the governments. Okay, so that will happen, related to the whole Epstein thing, the human trafficking issue, which is worldwide. This is every country's problem. It's not just the United States, but it's every country out there. So that will be an issue, and what will come forward more, and there will be some big surprises. So that will be addressed by the governments. Now, all right, so let's go into parallel lives. Okay, so parallel lives. Many people, when you get a dream, you have a dream where you're in a location you've never seen before. You're with people you've never seen before. I've had this happen many times. I've been in a location where, in its modern times, it's not like it's in a past life or a future life. It's a modern Earth like we are in now, and it looks just like this Earth. So a parallel life exists. Okay, so let me back up here. We all are all creators of our reality. So what you think about, you bring about. Okay, so remember that. What you think about, you bring about. And so when you are thinking in negative terms or whatever, you're going to bring those negative terms to you. If you're thinking of positive things happen to you, you will have a positive experience. It's just based on what you think and believe. Parallel lives happen when, and this is using part of Dolores Cannon's as well, her definition, and it makes complete sense. This is from her books. So what happens is, when you have a parallel life, let's say in this time right now, you're coming at that moment where you decide, okay, I'm going to possibly move to Florida, or I'm going to move to California. Okay, two very different places. And you think, okay, I have those choices. I'm going to move to Florida. Okay, so you move to Florida. That other choice that you did not do, which is moving to California, becomes a reality in a parallel universe. That's why there's infinite parallel universes. So your mind actually creates a parallel universe. Our dreams, when we experience that, are seeing those parallel lives played out that we created. However, it's not important, because what's important is this life consciously where you are right now, okay? So a parallel life is your non-decisions which are created into a reality in another universe is being played out. Okay, so most of the time, that's why you get those dreams, is it's showing you those parallel lives that you have and how you experience them. And sometimes the dreams are very bizarre, because every universe, parallel universe, has a different laws of the universe. Okay, the universe laws are different. So there may be different physics and quantum physics and things that get involved in it. So it may look a little bit differently, but it still resembles the same. Okay, so it's not important. Okay, it's not important. Those parallel lives are not important. I will just say that they're not important. What's important is this life you're in right now, where you're consciously at, and how you choose to live this life. Okay, so that's what a parallel life is. Okay. I get many of those dreams. I've had dreams where I'm in a totally different location, never been there before. I had one dream where I was in, I believe it was Australia. It looked like, I don't know, I can't tell. It was in somewhere or in that area, and people that I have no idea who they are. And so those are the type of dreams that I'm talking about. Every decision that you decide creates a parallel universe. So, for instance, let's say you have a job offer where you have one job and then you have another job offer. You have two job offers on the table, and you decided to only take one of them, obviously. The other one you didn't take creates a parallel life too. So that will create another parallel universe, okay? So we all have, there's infinite, that's why they said there's infinite universes, because we create infinite universes. It's all created by our thinking. We're creators. We're all source. We're all God. So we create based on what we think about, okay? Sorry about that. So if you look at it that way, okay, that's how you see a parallel life. So even in the most basic decisions that you make. So for instance, what am I going to have for dinner? Should I have tacos, which is my favorite, or should we do spaghetti? Okay, and you decide to have tacos. Well, that other decision not to have spaghetti creates another parallel life. Okay, so don't think too much about it. It's really not important. It just basically you creating you're using your creative manifesting abilities. Okay, if you have more questions on that, please send me a message, but that's how it works. The other thing I want to talk about is twin flames, soulmates, divine complements. Okay, so first I'll go for soulmates, because that's the most basic, and this is my experience, my representation, plus which actually coincides with others and coincides with what I've read in books too. A soulmate is basically what it sounds like, is a mate that is a mate to your soul. Okay, so we have all dated people, or most of us. We've all been in relationships. Most of us, I should say, most of us have been in relationships, and you can maybe some of us have had many relationships, or very few. Typically, those are soulmates. Those are soulmates where they don't last. They last for maybe, let's say, a couple of years or few years or whatever. Okay, or it can last a long time and be a soulmate. That's a soulmate, as a person that is a mate to your soul. Okay, now a twin flame is, remember I had talked about how our consciousness, our higher self, is in a higher dimension. Okay, so we exist, our full consciousness, our full soul exists in a higher dimension. When we incarnated on this earth, we took part of that consciousness and we incarnated into this physical human body, because it's too much energy it would be too much energy to bring the entire consciousness into this body. It would literally fry the circuits and would blow the body. It just wouldn't work. So part of your consciousness came into this body. When you have a twin flame on this physical plane, you are meeting somebody else. You're meeting another part of your consciousness that chose to incarnate as well. Okay, so these are typically somebody just like you. If you think of a twin as a replication of you, okay, so you may have you're a twin, and not all the time twin flames are twins. Most of the time, it could be a parent that's just like you, a grandparent, could be a brother or sister, could be a friend. Those are twin flames, where you have that connection where you're so much alike that you literally pick up every thought, or not every thought, but you pick up thoughts. You do the same things. You have no idea why. Okay, that's typically a twin flame. And yes, they do result in relationships. So you can have a relationship with a twin flame. That is what a twin flame is. Now, a divine complement is somebody who is completely complements you, makes up the other part of you, that aspect. It's somebody that complements your soul to such a degree that it's almost divinely, that's kind of a bad way to say it, but divinely orchestrated by source, okay? So that's somebody that's your one match in this entire universe. Now, some people say we all have a divine complement. I do believe that. Many times, though, our divine complements, one of the complements will stay in a higher dimension while the other one incarnates. And those are typically for starseeds. A lot of starseeds experience it. However, that's not always the case, because there are a lot of divine complements who have met in this physical plane. But but most of the time, or many times I should say, your other complement is kind of guiding you while you're here doing this mission, okay? That is a divine complement. Somebody that's completely and utterly just, you can't live without. The feeling is so strong where you need to be with that person, okay? With that soul. You couldn't have your life without them. And many people have experienced that on this physical plane, where they met their divine complement, where they have come across that, and where they just meet somebody for the first time, and the connection is so strong that there's like no force of anything can separate them, okay? So that's a divine complement. So I kind of hope that makes sense. I'm going to kind of wrap up this video, because I don't want to go into the solar flash event yet, because and then how it works with what's coming up, because I do want to talk about the quantum field and manifestation a little bit more. But I hope this kind of makes sense. This is part of this worldwide ascension. Many people, like I said, I've met people from all over the world already. I've been having conversations. I'm planning on doing a series, so I'm still trying to get that together, a series on interviewing people. I'm going to interview somebody that does Reiki. My mother actually does Reiki, so I will share that. I want to interview another friend that does amazing drawings, who channels drawings. And I'm going to interview some other friends of mine too, and then I'm going to try to get some people from all other parts of the world. So if you are interested, and you're from different parts of the world, like I'm in the United States here, so I'm in the state of Michigan, and if you're, I would love to interview you. Unfortunately, I speak a very little Portuguese, and I speak a little bit of Spanish, but not enough to carry on a interview with somebody. So if you do know other people who would be interested in that, I would love to do an interview. We could do over Skype. We could do a Skype broadcast, video recording, or we could do on FaceTime, and I think we can do it that way. Or we could do, I think, Facebook too. I'm on Messenger. I will leave a link to my email in the description, and I will also put a summary of this video, and then like I said, I'll probably do a part 4. I mean, I'm just going to kind of keep it going how I see it. I do want to talk about some channelings. That might be another video, but I do appreciate the support. I'm very grateful for that because we are in this together. I really, really mean that. And I get emotional at this because this is so important that we all stick together. I want to touch briefly about that triggering thing I talked about in my Facebook page, how there's a lot of energy that's trying to separate people, and it's trying to create set triggers off. Now, I want to go into this before because people will say, well, triggers are something you have to heal inside you. Yes and no. Yes, in the respect there's healing that has to be done in many people when they get triggered by other people. There's also dark energy though that does affect people who have maybe their emotions are at a lower point, and so this dark energy creates a trigger where they can pick at somebody. Okay, you may not react that way. You may just, okay, this doesn't seem right. There's something going on. So you may question their, why are they doing this to you? Okay. So these are triggers that happen, and you have to just catch it and realize it so you can cut off that energy. Yes, there are those triggers that have to get us to heal something that we have to, part of us that has to heal, but not all the time. Okay. Because I've experienced where somebody is saying things to try to trigger me, and I just stop because I realize, wait a minute, it doesn't get me angry or frustrated or annoyed. I just take a step back and say, wait a minute, let's stop this, because this is obviously there's a argument that's trying to be started here. So anyway, so those are, I talked about, that's very important. So if you can recognize that right away, you can deal with it right away. Okay. So if you like my videos, again, please subscribe below. Please like my videos. Please send me comments, feedback. I appreciate it. This is a new way I'm doing this. I'm doing this from my computer this time. So I'm hoping this turns out good because otherwise I just record the whole video. And yeah, anyway. So let's stick together, okay, people? Let's support each other. Just because we have different viewpoints doesn't mean you're wrong. Nobody is wrong. There's no wrong way, okay? We all have our beliefs. That's okay. Our beliefs change. Let's stick together. Let's not separate each other. We're all trying to make this a better world. Let's do this together. Let's stop separating. Let's stop creating division. Let's stop saying, well, I hate this person because they're whatever, Democrat, or they're Republican, whatever. No, stop that separation. We're all at one. We're all living in this planet as one race. Let's just be supportive of each other. Let's just show compassion. Let's show love. Let's show some decency and kindness to each other, okay? So I love you all, and I appreciate and thank you for watching. God bless.